Sorry, forgot to turn on the mics there for a second. Hey, everybody, welcome to the live stream. Let's see. So, on today's episode, we're going to be talking about season 2, episode 8, post-traumatic slide syndrome. So, if you want to check out the series, it's available to stream on Peacock and also digital download. You can download the whole seasons on Apple TV and also on Amazon Prime. All right, so let's get into the show. Sorry. I should have this ready.
What if you could revisit brand new worlds right here from your headphones, where anything is possible? Same shows, different perspectives, we've found the gateway.
Hey, everybody, welcome to Sliding Through Dimensions. We are a Sliders Rewatch podcast. Thank you for joining us, whether it's your first episode or your 18th episode. We're up to our 18th episode now.
Oh.
So I looked it up because remember last time you had asked, oh, how long have we been doing this for? I think first episode went up like first week of July.
5 years ago.
Well, 5 years ago, and we're only on season 2.
We get real in depth.
Yeah. So this week's episode,
This little one is about 30 episodes.
they split it. There's like 15 minutes an episode. So this week we're talking about post-traumatic slide syndrome. Original air date for that was March 3rd, 1996. So a brief synopsis is the sliders have come to a most unexpected world of all, home. While Rembrandt and Wade use their sliding adventures to kickstart their careers, Arturo steals the timer and claims sliding as his invention. However, Quinn remains convinced they are not home. What do you guys think of the episode?
I really liked it, actually.
Yeah,
I thought it was.
I think it was fun to kind of get an idea of well, I guess I can't really say that yet, but well,
I know.
Yeah.
I thought it had some interesting antics that get up into.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, it was good. I liked it. I forgot how much I liked that. It was a good episode. I hadn't seen it in a while.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was good. I liked it. All right, so we start off. Rembrandt, he's like in a psychiatrist's office, a therapy
He's
office.
in like
yeah.
a therapy,
Yeah.
which I will say I do like that
Head of
they're
the
showing that they're showing. Yeah, head of
Yeah.
the curve. It's a male and a person of color like in therapy, which is usually like
Yeah, you wouldn't expect
probably
that back then.
yeah, it probably isn't like as common as it is now.
I guess you would have thought it would have been like Wade. who
a
was in
little bit more
therapy.
taboo. Yeah, not
Like-
taboo, but like it was kind of like a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
down
think the
people
Wade
for.
therapy was like what, starting that journal, just kind of like getting her.
Oh,
to
the
like-
Which
diary
by
right
the
there.
Yeah,
which
her
we
diary.
later
Like
find
her
out
way.
that she's kept up this whole time.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought she just did those 2 times and then that was it.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll get to that.
Yeah, so he's in therapy. He's kind of talking to this doc, talking about
Sliding.
sliding and about the first world he mentions is Into the Mystic,
Oh yeah, it's the
Oh,
shaman
yeah.
who wanted Q's brain
Q's
or
brain.
Quinn's brain.
and then the
But then
therapist
it
is
was-
all, how'd that make you feel?
I know.
I was like, I'm glad it wasn't my brain.
I know. I'm like scared. I don't know. Worried, I guess. But I feel sad. It seems like he's kind of getting depressed. He said he was at the end of his rope.
Yeah, I think all of them were kind of just like emotionally like spent
Yeah.
from all the traveling. Well, because I guess he said they've been traveling for 18 months
Yeah.
so far. So yeah, so then
Oh, and then they have that little line, which we hear a couple times in the episode where he's like, how does it feel traveling in all these different worlds? And Rembrandt's kind of quick to be like, well, it's the same world, just different dimensions. Like,
yeah. I wonder if that's that's pointed towards the audience.
that's what I wrote down. I was like, is this kind of like a running joke for the show, or is it just them trying to like remind the
yeah.
audience what
I
is
wonder
actually
if like
going
they've
on?
come across that like since they had been around already for a season, people were all like, oh yeah, I love your show. It's like crazy. You guys all go to different worlds.
Or I wonder if maybe when like the the creators were like pitching it around, people just kept going like, so they're on different worlds, and it was like something that they had to keep like
Yeah, like
kind of
it's-
clarifying to
that it's
everybody.
the same world.
Yeah.
But it's funny though, because when we
But it's mentioned like 2 or 3 times like in this episode.
when we sign off, we say, "See you in the next world."
I know we do.
I guess we
Fuck,
gotta
man.
change that.
Damn, see you in the
That's
next
it for the
one.
Slightest podcast. We're done.
That's true, because we also name them by worlds. Like
That's
this one I
true.
named Therapy World, but I'm like, I guess we should be
Therapy
like
dimension.
Therapy Dimension. I don't know.
I don't know. I think it's worlds. It sounds better.
Dimension is just also like a longer word to say than
Yeah.
world. Like world is just kind of like easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, maybe we're also kind of ruining it for them. I don't know. But oh yeah, see, that's what I was like. Is this a running joke or clarifying for the audience? Like it was just like, because I feel like we've also heard it in other episodes too,
Mhm.
where they're like, it's not a different world, you know.
Yeah. So then
Yeah.
Rembrandt goes into like,
They
you know, he's
into a
like,
little
oh, what's
flashback.
something. Yeah, like he just basically starts telling the story of like
Oh yeah,
the
because
episode.
I guess he
Because they
asked him
said,
like, when did you kind of start feeling like this? And he's like, well, I
like,
guess
about,
it started
like 2 weeks ago or something like that. He said.
what I call flashback. Oh no, almost world.
Yeah. So then they come shooting out of the portal, and hats off to the stunt guy, because when Rembrandt comes flying out,
He like gets
He's-
he
he's
gets
like,
on
gets
the
some airtime.
professor. Yeah.
and the professor's like,
He's-
"That's it. Next time you're going in before me."
And then Rembrandt's like, no, we ain't doing that. But he lands like really hard on him.
Yeah, he like, if I was the professor, he knows Rembrandt always lands on him. He should like get out of
The
like,
way.
out of the way.
Or
Like,
or does he like subconsciously stay in the way so he always kind of catches him?
No.
No, you don't
No.
think he's like, let me help my buddy out.
I don't think so at all. Especially with what he says after he lands on him.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I know they all always kind of like stay on the ground for a little bit though
Mhm.
when they jump.
Yeah, Wade and Quinn never seem to land too hard. It's always the professor and Rembrandt.
He was kind of like worried on her where he was like, that's the only one he just asks Wade, Quinn. He's all like, are you okay? And then like, never mind the other guys. Even though he sees how hard Rembrandt landed on the professor, he's like, they're fine, they're cool.
Yeah, so then they're like kind of, it looks like they landed like in a neighborhood park or something like that, because there's like trees, but you can see like houses in the background.
Yeah, or I mean, I guess because in this next scene too, like they start walking and he immediately like sees a car that he recognizes.
Yeah,
So
said,
I wonder if does he live in front of a park?
maybe. I mean, because we live close to a park too,
We do.
but not like at like
I'm gonna stop giving them to him. People are gonna know. They're
They're
gonna
gonna-
find out now.
geosearch.
They're all, wait a minute. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know if they had been walking for a bit or
Yeah, no,
maybe
it didn't
they
look
do
like they
live
were
in front of
walking too far, because they just kind of like walked up from where they were. Yeah, and then he notices like one of the neighbor's cars. He's like, "Oh, that's I forget who he said, but one of the neighbor's cars that had gotten rear-ended before they left."
yes.
And then he noticed one of the neighbors of the other neighbor's
Well,
house.
he's all like, "Oh, it got hit right before we jumped." So I'm like, in his mind, is he thinking in these 18 months this guy hasn't fixed his car?
Well, it looked like it was being worked on because the hood was up, but it still had like the bumper
Was the
damage
hood
and stuff
up? I
like
don't
yeah,
remember.
the hood was
Oh,
up.
I
So it
didn't
looked like
remember
somebody
that.
was working on it.
Ooh, my surge.
So then they're like kind of in like right in front of Quinn's house,
yeah.
and then they kind of go.
So they're
up to
kind of
the,
like building
hopeful.
the
Yeah.
hope. Yeah.
Yeah, so they go up to it, and then of course he's got to make sure the gate squeaks when he opens it. It's just this is a horrible thing to go off of.
Marker to go off of.
And you know what? They didn't even check the timer because nobody knew what time, how much time
Nobody
they had there.
Yeah, that's true. I think
Quinn had it.
I think maybe they clocked all these like
Similarities.
similarities,
There
and they were
were.
like, let's investigate this first.
Yeah,
But yeah, they should have looked at the timer. They usually do.
yeah.
As soon as they land, they're usually
They're like, oh, we got this much
13
time
hours. Yeah.
left.
Mhm.
And then so they go up to the gate, and Quinn.
Do we
pulls
even
it.
know who has the timer right now?
Quinn has it.
Quinn has
Yeah,
it.
Quinn has it
Oh,
initially
okay.
when they first got there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which is weird. He didn't check it. But so they go up to the gate, and they pulls the gate open, and it squeaks. And then
And so they're like,
they're already like,
"Oh."
Rembrandt's already like, oh, thank God. He's like, yeah.
But we already know something is amiss, right? As the
Oh,
audience.
the moment at
The moment-
mom. Oh, I thought it was the one with the mom walks through it that I was like,
Did you?
that's such
Okay.
an odd line to
Yes.
say.
Oh,
And it's
Okay.
okay. So yeah, so
Okay,
Quinn's
so
mom comes
so the
out.
mom comes out, and then
then
she's
she's
like,
like-
"Oh," she looks at him like she hasn't seen him in a while.
Yeah.
So then he's like, "Oh, maybe this is like the world I've been missing on."
And then she's like, "I knew you'd slide home."
Yes, you would slide for the weekend or slide in for the
Yes.
weekend, right?
Yes, that line.
Oh,
she
really?
said.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she says that.
That's what the subtitles say.
As she's oh, I didn't even have this. I had the subtitles on for another part. I didn't even have it on for that
Yeah,
part.
that's
Well,
what
we
I
know
heard-
the Peacock subs are kind of
I got
off.
I mean, subs in general, they're not always the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, when you get them on DVD, they're like they're
spot on.
accurate.
Yeah.
Oh, are
Yes.
they?
Mhm.
Oh, they probably just use like a whatever program to like do the ones for streaming, huh?
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
imagine. But yeah, so she says that. I mean,
Mhm.
the gate squeaks, and we already know that on his actual world the gate
It
doesn't
doesn't.
squeak.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
So we're already like,
know
okay,
it's
that's not their world.
home.
Yeah.
And then the mom says that, and I'm kind of like, did no one else?
I guess I don't think
No
they
one
got
else heard
that.
it.
She
huh?
kind of says it before
Like
she like
they
hugs him.
Yeah.
It's like she's like on the walk up to him. She says
Mm,
it, so I could get it. Like,
But I heard that, and I was like, oh.
But that's
yeah.
funny that she
What
would
a weird
say
thing to say.
that she would slide back for the weekend because apparently they had all been missing for the same amount of time that they have been gone.
Well,
Yeah.
that's when I was then like, oh, I guess just like Quinn's mom know about sliding in general because
Maybe she knew
True.
he
works
had been.
on it
Well, yeah,
all the
because
time
it seemed
underground.
later. Well, I guess we'll get. Well, later on, it seems like it was planned for them to slide anyway.
Oh, like they. Oh, okay.
So then I
yeah.
wonder, in this world, why did Rembrandt slide with them?
Maybe it's the same thing. Accident.
He got caught
in
maybe.
there as well.
But yeah, so we find so they've been sliding for 18 months. And then they cut to inside the house and they're like passing
They're all
out
celebrating champagne.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then they're like Quinn's telling them like how amazing the professor was in other worlds.
Like he's bragging.
Getting world.
I forget
Yeah.
what we named them.
Yeah, I think
I
that's
gotta-
what
I
you
gotta
got.
look at
You
my
got
list
to
again.
do like a whole like.
I know. I
get
feel like
them
I need
all
to
again.
rewatch both seasons because I feel like I've lost track. I've like written them down here, but
It's
then
Apocalypse World. Because
Apocalypse
Apocalypse
World.
World is A-bomb world.
Yeah,
Mm,
I guess
I
you
think
call
so.
it a bomb world
Yeah,
too,
because
though.
the meteor was going to crash into the Earth.
Yeah, so they
But
call
yeah.
back to those two.
Yeah.
And
And
he's just
then
like, oh, you
He's
know.
like,
But
it was nothing.
I wonder why he.
Being modest.
No, well, yeah,
Or
it's
why
just
he was
because it's-
crazy.
it is kind of funny that he's being modest, but I wonder why he's bragging so much on him.
I think everybody's just happy and just
that
like
they're back home.
yeah that they're back home and
They're all,
I'm
I
like,
guess
"Oh."
that's true.
So they just,
And then Wade's on the phone with her dad.
was it the dad or
Yeah,
was it her
'cause she goes,
sister?
she-
was
no.
both the parents.
Oh,
I
and I
thought
think
she
she
said
was
put mom back on
initially.
the phone.
Yeah, she was initially
Oh.
talking to the sister when she first called, and that's what she said. Oh, she was like saying, "Oh my god," for like 10 minutes straight.
Yeah. So then it seems like all of these are markers of like, okay, we've been missing. This is our world because
Yeah.
everybody's wondering where they're at. But yeah, they end up toasting to friends and home, which I thought was
Yeah.
really nice.
Oh, and then I thought it was cute when the professor gave Wade her champagne. He gave her a kiss on the head.
Oh, did he give
Yeah.
her a forehead kiss?
Yeah.
Aw. That's cute. I didn't see that. And then it cuts to the basement and he's like staring at the
At the
at the
no,
chalkboard with like the equation.
equation and everything.
Or the professor staring at it.
And he's just thinking
He's
of
like,
like
deep in thought.
yeah, he's like, well, it's like we have 95% of
sliding salt figured
Mhm.
out.
of like a just like he thinks that they shouldn't like tell anybody about it until they figure it out and then
Mhm.
do like a big press conference. So he tells them, we should keep this to ourselves for now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Rembrandt's like, well, what am I supposed to tell people? I've been missing for 18 months. I can't just tell them. I was like,
Which is true.
yeah.
Like he does have to have a story to him.
Mhm.
Also, he talks about how this is the first, and it's true, this is the first time he sees that he should be seeing his basement too. He goes, oh, this is the infamous basement, or something like this is a famous basement. He's like, I
Oh,
would've thought
Rembrandt.
it was-
Yeah, he'd never seen
He
it.
had
Even
never
on the
seen-
other worlds, he never even went in there.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like,
That's
oh,
true.
it was just something I was like, I had never thought about that.
Yeah, so they all come to an agreement that they'll like keep it on down. Only people they were gonna tell is their immediate family, and then everybody else they would
Yes.
have to come up with some other cover story for the meantime.
Rembrandt, though, immediately, like you said, starts talking about his career and like how it's gonna boost, like how it can boost his career.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then and then as they're walking out, like just so he can catch his cab, he's all like, what is it, Rembrandt? Professor makes a remark about he's like, the way your career was going, I doubt anybody would know.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, he was gone.
He's like, what am I gonna tell people when I'm leaving? He's like, nah, it's all right. And then is that the same taxi that is always shown, you think? I was trying to look at the words.
Oh, I
But
don't
we see the
know.
taxi like immediately like drives through.
That would have been cool if they would have showed Payville again.
I know.
Couldn't get him.
That guy,
He was too busy.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're trying to figure out what to say for each other. And what I think they said they're gonna say he was touring in
For a
Asia.
year. He's just touring for a year, just like small.
Yeah, just like just
Around
out of the
house.
country, and
Yeah.
then
Professor
the professor's
was
gonna be
gonna
on
be
like
on
sabbatical, and
Yeah.
then Quinn
Don't
and
you
Wade were gonna be
need-
backpacking or something.
Yeah, in
Europe.
for 18
Oh.
months.
Yeah, for 18
That's
months.
what
For sabbatical though, I feel like you would have
You have to
needed
announce that,
authorized,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
authorization for that. No,
Oh, I guess he
like,
has tenure, right? I mean,
I think
that,
so.
that
Yes,
damn,
he
that's
does.
tenure,
why.
man.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they
He can
can't fire
disappear
You
for
can no call,
18
no show
months.
for
I
18
know.
months.
they're just fine with
That's
that.
the dream, man.
Yeah. So the Rembrandt
But then they
catches the
say
taxi.
their goodbyes, which I thought was
Yeah.
really sweet too.
So Rembrandt catches the taxi first, and then the professor
Gets in
tells
there.
Quinn, he's like,
See
oh,
you
we start
on
work
Monday.
Monday morning.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
he was very like.
Yeah.
He was
And
excited
So it looks
for
like
it.
they got there like on a Friday, right? Because they were going to take the weekend, I guess, to kind
Oh,
of chill
yeah.
Yeah.
or something like that.
Okay.
And then Wade and Quinn kind of have a moment, and then
And
they
they
kiss.
again.
So I wonder if there's like still
Oh.
something there.
Do you think her intention was like, okay, while they're sliding, it can get kind of too messy to be with each
Yeah.
other?
So now
But
that
now
they're
that they're on a stable
like,
planet or a stable
like-
dimension,
yeah,
they're like,
or, like, back
maybe
home,
now we can kind of
potentially.
like figure this out.
yeah, maybe.
Maybe. I
Yeah.
know. I was like, oh.
So he kisses Quinn, and then
Kiss.
Quinn's mom comes out, and then she's like, I never stopped praying that you'd come home. She kind of
Mm,
gives him a hug.
imagine.
Yeah.
And
then-
oh yeah, she hugged Quinn. That's true.
Yeah.
And the professor goes back to school.
Yeah, they show him like and then it kind of has like an kind of like a over, like it's like
Oh yeah,
Rembrandt. You kind of hear
Rembrandt's
his like
doing
his narration.
yeah,
like what
narration to
he's telling the psychiatrist. It's like
every
saying
so
the
often we
professor
get
went
cuts
back.
of his narrate.
Yeah.
Yeah, to like remind us that he's retelling
like still telling the story.
Yeah.
So of course the professor went back to school, and then he runs into
He runs
guess who
into
we
a
find out
woman.
who is his
He's
assistant.
his assistant,
Yeah, yeah.
And then
She seems really surprised to see him.
she seems surprised, but at the same time,
I guess
like
because
not
she knows.
surprised.
Because she knows.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
she seemed surprised, but then she also seemed very confused. And so I thought maybe in
I
this world
assume it's
he had
because-
gotten fired or something.
Oh
No, but then yeah,
That's
but
what
then
I
she
was
had,
kind of figured
knew.
because she was kind of like, "Why are you here?"
like immediately like what the twist was for this episode was gonna be. And I was like, I think it's just because I think me and Bot talked about like this thing happening before. In the
oh,
past. So I was like, oh.
see, that's why
yeah.
you guys shouldn't. So you guys shouldn't
This
talk.
is like a long time ago. This is like years ago.
You should have known, just in case.
I'm all like,
Yeah.
one of these days we're gonna do something with this information. So
Keep this info.
don't forget.
Yeah.
But yeah, and he also, I first thought she was kind of like confused also because he holds her hand for a really long time. Like he says like goodbye, and then he's kind of like, but then he also says this, which I thought was like, come on. He's like, don't worry, all will be, all will be
I'll be
explained
revealed, yeah.
soon.
Yeah,
And I'm like, why are you even hinting at something? Like you shouldn't say anything.
I think he's just trying to say, oh, there's an explanation for why I've been gone so long.
But I think it also sets up for what happens.
yeah,
next, right?
that's true. So
But yeah,
like,
so he held her hand for a really long time, and part of me was like, maybe she seems confused because she's just kind of like freaked out that he's holding her hand.
yeah,
Like maybe he's a super jerk and he got fired. Or, I don't know.
well,
I was
no,
just-
because then he's all like, "Oh, I'm here. I'm back to resume my courses. Of course, if the dean hasn't replaced me." And she's like, "Why would he do that?"
see, oh yeah, see, that's why I was like, oh
Yeah,
yeah, I don't know.
yeah. So then he kind of walks off, and then she kind of does like a double take, like
Did
confused.
she squint her eyes? Did she do that like?
Yeah,
shifty?
but they don't make it too
Should-
obvious. It's kind of
I
subtle.
think it's more just like I guess to the eyes.
Just
you think
still
she's
kinda
just
confused.
You can kind of like,
But you know.
yeah,
I think
yeah,
everyone
everyone knows.
like, oh.
That's true, because you already know.
Yeah.
But then Rembrandt goes to see his agent.
Yeah.
This old white dude.
He's all
Yeah,
like,
I mean that's what they were, right?
Yeah.
guess who's back? He's all the crying man. He's like, I knew a crying man. He
But
died.
he's dead.
He's like, look, I know you're mad. He's like, but I was busy touring Asia. He's like, what, the further ends of Mongolia?
Yeah. But it's funny that his story would be touring, because if that's his agent,
He would have booked it for him.
He would have booked it for him, and also he would have needed to get a cut of what he had.
Yeah, that's
gone.
what
Yeah.
he's all like, because I guess initially his agent was mad because he missed dates. It's like, I know I missed some dates. He's like, oh, if you were touring, he's like, where's my 10%? He's like, you mean 8%?
And
He's like, hey, don't let nobody else hear that.
And then Rembrandt immediately also folds and starts telling him what happened.
Oh yeah, that's
Oh,
right. He
yeah.
does go.
So it's just like the professor hints at something. Everybody was supposed to be quiet. The professor hints at something. Rembrandt immediately tells his agent what's up.
Well, because he's like, he tells his agent, he's all like, oh, he's like, how's your pacemaker? He's all still ticking. He's like, I got a story for you that's gonna, so he said it's gonna like somehow like be good for his career. I guess like
it's gonna blow up his career.
but like music wise, his music's still gonna be the same. But I guess
True, but it's
gonna
like
be,
you're
like-
gonna be relevant.
New
People are
writing
gonna be
material.
talking about. He's got different worlds he cried
he's
on.
like, you know how
now.
many songs I wrote while I was gone?
But I guess it's because he's gonna be in the public eye again.
Yeah,
Once this finally breaks in everybody's, you know.
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
But Wade ends up, and then we cut to Quinn. He's at his house, and Wade calls him.
yeah, and tells him to turn on the TV quick.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
He's like eating a sandwich. He's like, what?
Mm-hmm.
And then you see the professor's on doing like an interview.
Live television.
Yeah,
And he's
And
on
he's-
what is he? Oh no, that was the other one. But yeah, he's telling his story, and he's taking credit.
yeah.
And of course, I immediately am like, this ain't our professor.
Yeah, I was like, this is
Yeah.
Come on, it's obvious.
Did you
Yeah.
automatically like
Oh,
go
of
to
course.
that?
Yeah.
Why would I not think that?
But it's weird because he had like
Because
so
like,
much information.
because he had also been traveling. That's what we find out, is that his group had also been traveling, and he had that same fear of, oh, this is the
see,
closest
this is what I
we're
thought.
gonna get.
I thought he had. Okay, so I in my head I was like, that's not our professor.
He's not even the professor of this world, though.
Is he though?
He is a professor.
They said
He's
that
not-
they
He's
said
not the
that this professor of this world was too afraid not to go, and he
Yeah.
never went with him.
Oh,
I
I
thought,
thought he was
in this world the professor, because it makes kind of sense, because he was like, he did end up going to the professor once he figured out what he had
Yeah,
to get his, like, I don't know, opinion or help. So I thought in this world he had gone to the professor, and then he slid and never came back, and the professor was like, might as well take all this credit for myself.
yeah. So we'll find out. We'll find out later. But yeah. So there's the professor. It seems like the professor just taking all the credit for everything,
Yeah.
and then he goes. But they meet up.
They meet up at a bar. So it's
Rembrandt.
Quinn.
Oh, it's
Rembrandt,
at the
and
same
Wade.
bar at the
That's what I was
at the
wondering. Is that
hotel
the
bar.
same? Yeah?
yeah, at the Dominion Hotel.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
funny. And then so Wade's mad, obviously, because he's telling,
Yeah,
and I guess taking the credit because she knows it
but
was
then
actually
you
Quinn.
find out.
Well, the
Oh,
funny
that
the funny thing is, so we also find out that Quinn isn't initially mad that he's taking the credit.
Yeah, he
he's
doesn't
more
care
like
about
we
that.
all swore. Yeah.
Yeah,
Which is, I don't know, what does that mean? What do you think? Do you think he should
He's
be
not
mad?
about. He's not about.
He's not about the credit. He's just more
Yeah.
about like.
he's more about the science of
the
it.
ethics.
But yeah, he was like, we all swore ourselves to quietness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Rembrandt, Rembrandt's like, well, my agent's booking 3.
He's got 3 major label deals.
Yeah, there we go, label deals.
Yeah.
And then Wade also is gonna have a book deal.
Her-
Her journal's gonna be
Yeah,
published.
Yeah.
Newsweek wants to serialize her diary, and that's when I was like, wait a minute, she's been writing this whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we find out everybody immediately
He's
talks.
getting something out of it.
Everybody's just talking. Nobody's trustworthy here.
Mhm.
So then I started to think, are these their doubles? That thought did cross my
Oh.
mind for a second.
Oh, if there was like
Like
they all got
everyone in
swapped
that-
Yeah,
out
like
for that
everybody
world's
had
doubles.
a double, but Quinn.
No, yeah, well, I guess it's not the case. So then he goes. He's there at the bar still, and Quinn goes to the phone to like call the professor,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then
He sees like
his
a
like assistant or whoever it is answering the phones for him
yeah.
says, "Oh, he's not available right now,"
Mhm.
and then then he hangs up.
No, I don't think he hangs up.
No?
He's like, I think
Still has
on the phone.
and
Yeah,
then
when
he sees a newspaper about the Super Bowl, the 19th Super Bowl, and it's
Oh yeah, that's
the
right.
Dolphin or
the
who is
Jets
it?
and the
Oh,
Dolphins.
the Jets and the Dolphins. Yes, but it's supposed to
No, the Niners
Oh, the
and the
Niners?
Jets.
and the Jet. Oh, it's
Yeah.
supposed to be the Dolphins versus the.
And I guess he said the Niners. I don't know. I don't know anything about football.
Yeah.
The Niners is what I wrote.
49ers.
They played the Dolphins. He said
Mm.
in their world.
Yeah, for that Super Bowl. And then does he take the article out
He
of the
does-
thing? Because he takes
I don't
the
know if
paper
he
to him,
takes
right?
it out. I think he takes the whole
thing?
frame.
Imagine the bartender's like, "Hey, where are you going with
I
that?"
know. Also, like I guess it was just like hung. It wasn't like
Yeah. And it wasn't like tacked on there. good.
yeah.
And then of course they're like,
Oh, and then I guess he was
Uh.
like something because they were like, "Oh, you could have just been remembering it wrong," and he's like, "No, I know.
yeah,
Like there are some things that I know like very much about."
I do
So I
like-
guess he's super into football.
This is a marker again because when they were in their world, the same thing happens where they bring up that newspaper
That's right.
and football is involved, and they don't believe like the Super Bowl teams are going against each other. They're like,
yeah,
"There's no
that's
way that would
right.
happen in our world." Yeah,
But
but I like how they didn't want to take this seriously. I think part of them didn't want to.
except that
Yeah,
were
except
in
that
the
they weren't
wrong
home.
world. I
yeah,
don't blame them.
which is
Yeah.
funny. Well, not funny, but like I do think like if I think they trust Quinn enough to like as soon as he clocked that
Yeah,
for them to have been like, oh, maybe he's got something here, but they immediately dismissed him.
yeah, because like, why would he lie about that? Why would he not want to be home?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess I think they were just like tired and they were like this. I think they wanted maybe. I think at this point they still thought they were on their world. I think they were
They
like,
don't fully.
yeah.
yeah,
So then they all leave the bar. Does Quinn leave the bar upset? I can't.
yeah.
remember.
He leaves mad.
Yeah, and then he goes home, and it's all like super dark, and I guess his mom's not home either.
That's right,
And then he goes into the house, and
Oh, actually, we have a little flashback to therapy. Sorry.
oh, did they flash
Yeah,
back to therapy?
They flash back to therapy and then they go back.
Oh, okay.
And so so yeah, it's like dark. They had this weird camera angle where like the camera's like up on the stairs
Oh yeah, it's like an up top shot.
and it's kind of
Yeah.
like crooked.
Yeah,
It was just like a weird. I guess maybe it was to convey
Dutch
how
angle.
creepy it was.
Yeah.
I don't know.
yeah. So it's all dark, and you hear like it's like someone's in his
Here
basement,
rummaging.
Yeah.
In the basement.
and
yeah.
then somebody like runs out, and then jumps into like a black van and just takes off.
He hits him though. No, I thought the burglar hit
I think
him.
he bumped into him as he was running out.
Yeah.
And then Quinn chases him out. He's like, "Hey!" And then you kind of surmise it's the professor who probably sent somebody because they're like he broke in and
Oh,
stole.
I don't know if
Yes.
I don't know if I thought it was the professor.
The professor can't move like that, man.
No. Oh, the professor runs so quick. I guess maybe did I think it was like the professor's goons?
Like, get paid someone.
Maybe.
Yeah, he obviously definitely paid somebody. I don't know who he paid to break in, but
Yeah.
I guess he's got people
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I guess he would have people, right?
at this point. Yeah.
And then this guy runs into the van,
Mhm.
and when he's driving away, I literally thought that guy was gonna crash. Like the way he was driving was just like super swervy, and so I thought maybe he was gonna crash and we were gonna find something else.
I thought Quinn was gonna chase him because I was all like, "Where's Quinn's car?"
He, like,
Quinn
took the-
immediately
I think he's
gave
gonna
up.
grab onto the van or some shit.
It's like
he,
drag him
We
down
wanted
the
more of an
street.
He
action
grabs
shot.
to the van originally, and I'm like, he kind of just watches the guy drive away. In
He
all
does.
honesty, like he doesn't do shit.
Doesn't try
He
to
doesn't even
do-
try and punch the window out or like, come on.
I know, he just kind of like watches
He's
it.
like, "Hey,
want
get
that
back here."
remote
I
that
thought
bad.
the way he was driving, maybe he was like, "Oh, this guy's gonna crash. I'll get him right now." And then he did
Well, he's
it.
gonna crash in a fire hydrant in a second.
Yeah.
Give him a second. I know.
So I guess the professor had sent somebody to break in, and I think he stole the timer.
Did
Come to
we
find
know
out,
he stole the timer?
I don't know if they noticed yet.
They don't know.
They
Oh,
don't-
well, you know what? He must know. Yeah, he must know.
He
that
must know
stole
because
the
that he
timer.
doesn't have the timer,
He
right?
doesn't have the timer. Yeah.
Oh, he does because then he goes to Wade's house after this.
Oh,
who,
is this where that really intense
that's
scene
a
happens?
Super fancy house.
Oh, okay. No.
Oh, because even in the
Oh,
first
you're talking
initial
about this
shot, you
scene.
see
Yeah.
Wade's
Okay, this
like
is different.
basement room thing. Because she lived with her parents still.
I thought
thought she
no.
lived
I
with her
made the assumption
parents.
that this is her new place because she had the money from the series.
Yeah, see,
because
that's
she's
what I
talking
was
to
trying
like a
figure out.
lawyer already.
But
and
That's
no.
why I thought this was maybe a double of
they
her.
show that place before she starts doing the whole book deal thing. So that I think that's her place.
I mean, it would make sense that her parents are rich, actually.
I mean, yeah, but I thought, I mean,
I mean, you gotta
living
be
in
with the
San Francisco,
Francisco
I
these
know.
days.
Her major, come on.
This is also why I thought she was a double. Because I was like, that is a fancy ass house for her to have already.
Yeah.
Being
But I
like
guess
part
that's the
time.
way her house is.
This is when she has that like weird, like that
Every
outfit.
stair had
like,
like
sweater.
a plant on it. Like,
Yeah, so now
Yeah.
it looks like
Is
she
it
has
is
like
it
an
a power
assistant
suit?
as well.
Is she wearing? a
yeah,
power
she
suit?
has an assistant already.
Yeah.
Like taking phone calls for her.
It also just seemed to kind of like cramped.
That's
though.
why I think it has to be. It has to be like a somewhat of a gap there, like a.
I think that was the other thing too. I was trying to figure out
How much time
Time
passed
how much
by?
time had was
Passed.
passing by.
Yeah.
It has at least been
Because
at least 2-3 days.
For her to like already
Yeah.
have talked to Newsweek, they're gonna serialize
assistant.
and have an assistant have this fancy
Just
house.
get
I
all this
was like,
stuff
"Is this
going.
been 6
Lawyers
months? What's
talking
going
to
on?"
her.
One of the
Yeah.
assistant
Yeah.
was appointed to her by Newsweek to kind of help her.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I just was like, "How long has it been? Like, how is this all happening so
Yeah.
quickly?"
Yeah, you can't really tell. It just looks like 2 or 3 days max.
Mhm.
And to me, it almost felt like the next day.
You're like,
Like, I was like, "What's going on?" But it also her house seemed really dark. Like I thought to myself, like I feel like you should have more natural light in this house,
yeah. So then
especially for all those plants.
so then Quinn shows up at her place, and then he's like trying to convince her that they're not home. He comes up with some other stuff, right?
He comes
There's
up. He
some other
comes and he
discrepancies.
shows her. So he goes to her house to also
It's like
show.
it's a card, a baseball card.
No, that was the professor, and
Oh,
that
the
was
professor?
later
Oh,
on.
it was later on? Oh,
So
okay.
this one, he goes with his school photo, like a class photo.
And some kid doesn't have braces.
Braces.
And he said he
yeah.
did have braces.
And-
We used to call them railroad tracks.
We missed that. We should have called you that when you had your braces, huh? Which I thought was a
Railroad
funny
tracks.
little nickname.
Nickname?
Like I was
That's
kind of
fucked
like,
up.
I'm on railroad tracks. It's pretty good.
And then Quinn's, I don't know, Wade's like, she's like, she's like, how can I?
She's like, oh, you're
she's like,
again. She like
you don't remember if some kid had braces or not. She doesn't take that as a good
As, like,
enough
a
an
definite.
excuse.
she's
they're
just
not
so
home.
she just seems so Hollywood right now too.
Yeah, she's
Big
like,
time. Yeah.
Yeah,
made
she's
it.
too big time for him.
Can't blame her.
She's like, don't come at me with
Yeah.
these braces.
yeah. So she tells him to wait real quick, and then they'll go talk to the professor together and stuff like that. And Quinn's kind of like, he's fed up, so he just takes off. 'Cause
Yeah.
she takes a phone call or whatever.
Yeah, so they're like mid argument, and then she gets a call from her lawyer. And
Yeah.
she's like, just wait for me. And he immediately, like, she starts walking away. And he just leaves.
He just leaves, and then it cuts to the professor. He's like doing a press conference, kind of showing like how the
museum,
dimensions are layered.
Oh, no,
and
this
then
is
he
the-
does that thing.
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
I still
No,
don't,
it's-
I
yeah,
didn't
it's a press
understand. I
conference.
didn't
Right, right.
understand that.
It just
I'm
it's just
I'm
like
sure
a
look at the
visual
thing. It's a cool
yeah.
visual reference.
It's just like a
Makes
visual
sense.
representation of how if you look at the
Earth.
they're like it's like you don't see anything, but when you turn them to the side, it shows there's like
a bridge.
different dimensions layered on
I
top of
guess.
each other.
I think maybe
They're like
it's just too.
pancakes.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
glowing pancakes.
It does look cool, like the
Yeah,
little.
I
like
liked
It
it. That was
was
cool.
nice.
That's kind of nice.
That'd be
yeah.
dope.
We
ass
need to
prop.
find
that. We need
where
that as
that
a prop.
prop
I
Yeah.
want it. I need it.
We need to find where that prop is. See if we can get it.
Yeah, that
over
was pretty
here.
dope because it kind of shows like the vortex, kind of like running
It does.
in between
It
them.
does. Like the light starts at one end, and then it slowly kind of like
Yeah, when you see it from
swirls
when he turns
into-
it to the side, you can see like the vortex running through him.
yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, so there's like a whole news crew there and everything, and then Quinn comes in,
He sees him too.
sees him, and then
he gets mad. Like you could tell he's kind of like,
not so much mad. I think he's just like worried that he's gonna might do something, like so he decides to take a break from the conference.
yeah.
And he goes up to him. He's like, "How'd you get in here?" He's like, "You're not that important yet, Professor. I just told him I was the school newspaper."
Oh, I was trying to. That's what he said. I
Yeah,
just heard him
makes
say, "I'm." There were a few scenes that I had to keep rewinding
Uh-huh.
because I couldn't really make out what was being said. And that was like that was one of them. I just heard him say, I told him I was in the school newspaper. I didn't know he burned them like that. That was good.
Yeah. So then he tells the professor, he's like, oh, there was just like this whole like back and forth about taking credit.
Well, yeah, he's trying to tell him that like they're not on their world. And this is when he brings up the baseball card.
And he says that on the back of the card there was an asterisk.
Like, yeah, he had been looking through his old baseball cards. So now we know he
like the
that
most
loves football.
That's kind of a stretch too. I wouldn't know if I would.
But see, again, he was like, these are things that like he knows in the back
he knows
of his
for a
hand.
fact.
So we know that he loves football and
he loves baseball. He loves surfing as well, and he loves hockey too, because he had in his room he had the surfboard, he had the hat for the.
We know he was very. But yeah, so we know he's really into baseball because he collects the cards. But I guess there's no asterisk. I couldn't figure out the name of the player.
Is it that one? The one you have up
I
on
think
your phone?
it might
Roger
be
Mason?
Roger Mason
From San Francisco Giants. That would make sense, I guess.
That would make sense.
But I don't remember which.
But I was trying to figure out what card it was. But because I wanted to know why there was an asterisk, if there was actually an asterisk like in that player's card.
Yeah, I don't know what that represents.
But I can't. I mean, he's got a few cards. I don't know.
Yeah.
He's got. Oh no,
it didn't have an asterisk.
It didn't have an asterisk. So I guess in Prime World,
another crazy
it did.
small detail is like the huge fucking detail we find later.
I know.
I know, right? How did everybody miss that?
I liked all these all these little things.
It's supposed to be the Dolphins.
I know.
So
he saw this curb is only 3 inches above it was 4.
Yeah.
Like there are all these little minuscule.
So I forget it. At this point, when he's having this conversation with the professor as they're walking down the hall, does he reveal?
No.
Okay, not yet. Okay.
So then he's so then he talks about that and he's just like, he kind of waves him off too. And then we go back to Rembrandt. And he's in the studio. Yeah.
Oh.
And he's like it was like re-recording old songs, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
Just like I'm like, you already have that. Why are you re-recording that? Was it Cry Like a Man?
Yep.
I think so. But he like wanted his cry to be heard at like or him like breaking his voice, like cracking at a certain part.
Yeah. So then his agent tells him that he's got a phone call.
No, he's got a lady.
Oh, he's got a lady?
Yeah, a woman visitor. And he's like, no,
not right now.
Yeah,
and then he sees it's Wade. He's like, oh, all right. So then his agent tells him to like hurry up because they're getting charged. I forget how much he said, like an hour or something like that.
I think
$3,000 an hour or something like that. I can't remember the exact amount.
I think he said it's coming out of my pocket, and then I think Rembrandt tells Wade how many. I know I didn't write it down, but he did tell him it was like something like $30,000 an hour to rent that studio or something.
Yeah. So Wade shows up to kind of tell him if Quinn had reached out to him about not being home. And what did he bring up to Rembrandt? Did he tell him something too that was off?
I don't know.
I can't remember.
I don't think so.
An encounter with, we never get to see like his solo conversation with Rembrandt.
Yeah, no, they didn't show it. He just mentions it right now.
But like nobody believes him.
Yeah, nobody believes him.
And that's what he said. He said he felt bad for him because he can't lay back and enjoy the ride.
Yeah.
Which then made me think that he did know it was in his world.
Oh, I don't think he knows yet. Either.
I think Rembrandt had at this point already figured it out.
You think so?
I think so. Because why would he say that he can't just lay back and enjoy the ride instead of being like he can't just come to that this is his world? I think he knew like they were all just kind of taking it for what it was. I think he knew.
You think he noticed the big thing already?
No, I don't think so.
I know.
Which is hilarious.
I know what he mentions later that he noticed that was off.
Yeah.
So we'll get to that
I don't
after.
think he mentioned. But I think he knew. He had probably seen small things, and he knew. I felt like, because what a weird thing to say.
Yeah. So
then he was like, he's like, "Oh, are you going to the museum opening?" I was like, "Museum? They already have a museum on themselves?" Like,
so they work fast, man.
I know.
Shit.
But
oh, so that I think what they both decided they were gonna go, and that they were gonna. I think were they gonna try to get Quinn to go as well.
I think Rembrandt said he was gonna like try to talk to him or something.
Mhm.
But they go back. They do like a little therapy cut, and then they come back, and I think it's like the museum opening.
Yeah.
And then Rembrandt and Wade go to this museum opening together.
Yeah, and then the professor's there. He's like, I forget what he says. I didn't get a chance to take notes, so I just like remember them.
Oh, I think he was just like, let's take a picture with everybody because he joins like the group pictures.
Yeah, they start doing pictures together.
And then he goes, I want to take any for the bulbs
are giving me a migraine.
Yeah, and so he goes,
he's like,
ladies,
he's like,
gentlemen,
he's on no more pictures.
Yeah, and they stop.
They all leave.
Fucking right.
No more pictures, everybody.
No more pictures. Everybody go away. So then they go, and I guess they're doing like this statue unveiling of the professor, and they call him the father of interdimensional travel.
Yeah.
So they
but
pull.
Wade kind of gives him like a little.
They slimmed him down.
They
Huh?
slimmed him down.
I mean,
his face
looks weird. It's all like
it's
like a bronze statue.
I'm sure he probably had like
Still got
final
his
say
iconic coat.
too.
Yeah, and he's holding the timer in his hand.
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of the Abraham Lincoln one they see in the park.
Oh yeah.
It's like that style.
But yeah, Wade kind of yells at him about what he was doing, and then he says that he laid the groundwork and he would have gotten there himself if he had enough time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But let's be real, he wouldn't have. He was just busy teaching his courses.
He wasn't even trying to do anything when it
know,
comes to interdimensional.
I think he was writing books, obviously, because Quinn said he's read all his books and stuff like that.
Mm.
And then they unveil like the case, like this case, and it's got the timer in it.
Oh yeah.
And he's just kind of chilling in
Professor
there.
and Wade see the timer, and then Wade calls
Wayne
Q to tell him.
Oh, that they finally found out that he did in fact steal the timer.
Yeah, and so then Quinn's like, "Okay, we gotta break in."
Well,
and
no,
she's
not yet. She gets off of the phone with him, and then she's like in another part of the museum. She turns around and she sees like it's like a projected shot of the Golden Gate Bridge.
No, see, even before that, he wanted to break in. Quinn wanted to break in.
Oh, yeah, he did.
And she was like, "You can't just break in. It's a museum. You can't just break in."
Yeah.
And then she's like, "Whatever. I just wanted to tell you."
Yeah, I just wanted to let you know. So she gets off the phone and she sees the projection of the Golden Gate Bridge, and it's blue.
Oh my god! I thought it was a window.
No, it was a projection.
It was a project. I thought it was just a bad like.
Holy shit! Wait, it's not a window. She's
I
looking
don't
out.
think it's a window.
I think
it's
it's just a window with a shitty ass projection.
Oh,
coming out
maybe
of
it could.
I
be.
think it was just
she's looking at that's supposed to be a window.
Oh, but why does it have this little time?
Because
that's a boat. It's a boat.
That's a boat. Yeah.
That's a horrible thing because I straight up looks like a projection.
No,
it is
yeah,
like a
no,
window.
the graphic was bad. It was bad.
You don't know.
But it's also like this is early.
Yeah.
Like they used all their money on the
Well, it's funny
portal.
because they show that window shot, and then they do like
the
a
giant
big
dinosaur
open,
took a lot of the market.
But then yeah, she looks at
Shit,
the
man.
but we see the Golden Gate Bridge and it's blue.
It's blue.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And then she's like,
"Oh my god, we're not home."
Did we pass?
but it's like it was literally there. You didn't see it.
I don't think
maybe
anybody noticed it. They didn't
maybe
pay
it's
attention.
a thing like when you live in San Francisco, you just see it
You
all
just
the
ignore
time,
the
so you
fucking
never
bridge.
notice it.
I just
Yeah.
thought maybe if they don't live
Like,
near
do you
like
know
where
what
the bridge
any
is.
of the bridges in LA?
I know what the
look
6th
like?
Street Bridge looks like. Definitely. I'm like, God, yeah.
Yo, that thing hasn't been orange this whole
But,
time.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
so then
yeah.
that kind of cements it.
Do we pass the really huge argument that she and Quinn have?
Oh no,
Uh,
this is when so then
So
it
this is
cuts
when-
the picture, or it cuts to like the outside shot,
Oh,
and then
okay.
it goes into her house,
Mm.
and she says it's called the Azure Gate Bridge.
Oh, it's not even called the Golden Gate Bridge?
No, it's
makes
no
sense,
because
because
it's
it's not-
blue.
Oh.
I mean, it's not
Azure-
like it was golden now.
Yeah, it wasn't golden.
No, it was Azure Gate a bridge,
Mhm.
and she's like, I heard them say it on the radio. I probably heard them say it on the radio so many times, and it never.
It never
Register.
clicks. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I thought this was a really good scene.
This is a really. I think
It's
it's
so
made up.
good.
It's made up for the season finale.
Yeah, I know.
It is so good.
Like her going
Yes,
through it,
vocal.
her crying,
That
her
table slam
venting.
is so good. I was like,
It's
damn,
it's
saw
an
table
upgrade
slam.
from her. No.
Yes, it is
Yeah.
such a good. I'm like,
It is
oh,
such a. This is
redemption is great here.
This is probably
Yeah.
the best scene
Best Wade
for
scene.
her. Yeah, this is
Yeah.
the best Wade scene I think
Mhm.
I've seen.
Yeah, I like it.
And yeah, so she's like crying and she's coming to the realization like, no, this isn't her world. Like it finally is like, it's finally hit her so much that she can't make herself blind to it anymore.
Yeah.
And she does this, like, she's crying and she slams her like stuff down and she immediately like cries on like onto Quinn's shoulder.
Yeah.
And he doesn't even like hold it against her. He's just kind of like, doesn't even say I told you so, because I feel like I would have.
In your face.
but yeah, he just kind of comforts her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he tells her that he's gonna get them home
I'm gonna get you home
someday.
Yeah,
but then
that's-
and then it cuts to them showing the picture of the Azure Gate Bridge to the professor, like they're back at the school.
Oh yeah.
And this is when the professor's like, yeah, I've seen it, like I've seen it, I've known. And then this is when I was like, holy crap, this is our professor. Damn, he got me. I was like, he did know this whole time, because he was just like, yeah, I know, but this is what, like,
this is like as close as we're
he's
gonna
like,
get.
yeah, he was like, we could,
I don't
he's like,
blame
we
him.
could, he's like, we could never, there is a chance that we'd never get back home, and this is like the closest that we'll get. Let's just take this.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh damn, this is our professor. He like,
And then he tells me,
he
"You want to
switched
break
up.
you want to break your poor mother's heart again?" And he's just all like, "She's just not my mother. She's not my mother."
you're not my mom. But yeah, he's just like, these are families that have also lost them. Like this is, and so at this point I was kind of like, oh, maybe maybe he's just so tired of sliding. He's like, I want to make like the best life for myself. Like I'm gonna
This
settle
is like
for
as
this
close
world.
as close
Not
as
bad,
close as
you know,
they've gotten.
Because-
it's weird that you wouldn't choose to stay here just to figure out sliding. Like, you know, this isn't your world, but like this is like the perfect world for you to at least continue on studying sliding and figuring out, especially with like the huge funding you would get from Wade and Rembrandt.
Oh yeah,
and
that's
Professor.
true. You could get like a whole team.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
like
from
why
the
would
government,
you
I'm
not
sure.
stay here and then just work on it?
Well, they're still in these episodes. We see them still so worried about the timer.
Oh, like running
out
and
of
they
the
can't,
timer.
They can't go anywhere. But it's like
But you would just be able to like
redo it.
I
I
guess
guess they worry that it will then fuck it up more and we'll get even more lost. But then,
it'll like push them off in the or maybe
Yeah.
that's what you need to like get it to kickstart. I don't know.
Yeah. So,
But
Quinn-
they're still so like worried about the timer running out
yeah.
that I think that's why they can't just stay in this world to
Yeah.
like study sliding.
So he tells the professor, he's like, "You can stay if you want to, but I'm getting the timer and we're leaving."
And he's like, you
"Okay,
must do
well,
what
you
you
gotta
must.
do,
Yeah.
and I gotta do what I gotta do." So you already know he's gonna
That's
do.
a threat.
Is up to something.
I didn't even take that as a threat. I thought he was just like, you're gonna do what you need to do, and I'm gonna stay here. Because we've seen, I mean, everybody has had a world already
Where they like
where
want
they're
to stay.
willing to kind of like where they do struggle with doing.
Well, the professor almost stayed on the one where
Yeah.
his wife was alive,
Yeah, and Rembrandt almost stayed on the one where he was famous, and then
and then
Wade almost stayed on the world where she was gonna be a princess. So
No, I don't know if it ever crossed her mind to stay there. If anything, it would have been better to stay where the like that 70s one where she was like a guru.
Oh,
I know, but that was still so early.
Yeah,
that,
that's
yeah.
the UK one. That's right.
Yeah, the UK one where
Yeah.
that
The
guy wanted to marry her,
Yeah,
the prince.
But I don't know. So I just was like, maybe he's tired. Maybe that's just it, and he just wants to like. I'm tired of sliding. I'm tired
This
of
is a retirement world.
yeah. Like he's like, this is good enough.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's what I thought he meant. I didn't take like I will murder you if I have to.
Yeah. So then they got to try to figure out a way to get into the museum and get the timer.
Oh, you know what though? When they get out of school, I thought this was a nice
Yeah, it's
scene
a scene
for
between
Quinn.
Quinn and Wade.
Yeah, where he kind of goes like, because what does she say? She says something and he kind of breaks down and he finally is like, I don't know if it can ever get us home. Actually,
Yeah.
like he just finally says that out loud.
I wonder if he's just like it's understandable if like she wants to stay.
Oh yeah, because that's right. She says something and he's like, do you want to stay?
Yeah.
Like that's true.
Yeah.
Quinn is always so steadfast in wanting to continue sliding.
I think
He's
he wants
always
to
the
like
one in the
actually
group.
get home.
He
Yeah.
misses his cat.
I
Oh yeah, because they
know.
didn't even
Schrodinger.
show Schrodinger. We don't even know if he has a cat on this
That's
world.
true. You think maybe he was like, wait a minute, where's Schrodinger?
Where's my
And then the mom's
cat?
like, who? And he's
Can't
like,
live
I
without
knew
that
it.
cat.
He's like, hey, that's how
You have a dog. Name Einstein.
He saw this. He saw this in my world. But
The
he is
doc
so-
comes in. Morty.
Holy
shit! It's like Quinn.
I'm all this is Back to the Future world now.
Crossover.
But yeah, but I thought,
What an episode.
but then there was like some scenes in here that had like really good acting, and I thought that was, or like really like that was, I thought, a good scene for Quinn too, where he just was like, I don't know if I can ever get us, and then she is like, no, I believe in you, you're gonna get us there, and he kind of like smiles again.
Yeah. So then it cuts to Rembrandt again to the therapy session.
Oh yeah, I like this next thing he says. Go.
What does he say?
Oh, he was like, I got offered to do MTV Unplugged with the Tops. And even the therapist is like, Unplugged is like a highest, like
Is
it's
it?
a high honor.
Oh, I wouldn't even.
I completely forgot about
I
MTV
was like, what is,
Unplugged.
I thought that was
Yeah.
a made up thing. I thought that was like an alternate world thing. I'm like, what's that?
No, that's
No,
the
it
thing.
was like a
Unplugged.
thing,
Like,
yeah.
you just do like acoustic like
Versions?
performances by
Oh,
artists, like
that's cool.
like Nirvana
Oh, that's
has
why it's
one.
unplugged. Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
There was
There's a whole
this
bunch.
one. There's this one time I remember I fell asleep and I woke up to an Unplugged, like
Uh-huh.
you know, so
Scared her.
like it just
Yeah.
runs.
It's Foo Fighters.
No, I remember I forget what song it was, but I remember thinking to myself like,
It's pretty good.
the acoustic version makes me like the song so much better.
You don't remember who it was though?
I think it might have
Was it
been
Creep?
I'm
Radiohead?
out there.
Acoustic
Radiohead?
version is pretty good.
It might have been something. Did Gwen Stefani ever have
I
an
don't know.
Unplugged?
Maybe.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
That was around that time. So
Yeah.
Oh
it's
no, I
possible.
think it was a Pink one. I think it was a Pink song. I think she had
Pink?
an Unplugged.
Pink?
Yeah.
They were still doing unplugged when she started.
Oh man, Pink has been around forever. Yeah.
I don't remember.
Not
when she
forever, but
started,
like she's
but
been. Yeah.
Yeah.
She was definitely around for the MTV kind of like.
Yeah.
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 Definitely.
Yeah. So then from there it cuts back to Rembrandt. He's like getting makeup done. He's gonna go on stage
Chair,
with the Tops,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And they're supposed to do like this whole thing with the Tops, and then two of the Tops come in,
I love the fight that they had.
and they're all like,
Are you gonna cry?
"Is it gonna cry? Of course, I'm gonna cry." He's like, "The crowd
He's
go
like,
crazy if I
yeah,
don't go."
no,
cry."
he goes, the fans would riot if I didn't cry.
He's like,
Real.
"You gonna cry? We gonna cry."
He's like, if you're crying, we're crying. And he's like, nah, man, that'll confuse people too much if everybody is crying.
Yeah. He's all like, "If it was," oh, then what does he say? It's like, "Oh, okay, if we can't cry, then nobody's
Yeah.
crying."
Oh, yeah.
I love this little argument. I love it. Everybody's like, I want to cry too.
And then he's kind of like over it. He's
Yeah.
just like whatever. And then they never even show the performance. Who knows if it ever happened?
Yeah.
Well, no, they
So-
cut to the
The museum at night. Looks outside.
It's the
Outside
worst
him.
fucking
And then
guard,
it
by the
turns
way.
Oh, I know, right?
It turns out it's very easy to steal
I
from this
know.
museum.
Oh, I know.
You're right. Yeah.
Wade was all like, you can't just steal from a museum. They got all this security.
Yeah.
And immediately they're just inside.
Yeah, they're inside. Just one security guard.
Doesn't even do a full
Doesn't
fucking check.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right
He
behind the
just
wall.
he
kinda
looks at one side and then he's like, all right, we're clear.
It's all
And
clear.
immediately-
Fucking walks
So they get
away.
up to the case, and then it says
29
much?
seconds.
29 seconds.
30
so it's like,
seconds.
or it's like he's like, no time to like try to figure out how to get up. So he just fucking like pulls up the thing, and the alarm.
That
so
wasn't
easy.
even locked on.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Hot
They
glue,
would've
some
had to
shit, bro.
break it
I
or
know.
something.
he just opens it and the alarm goes off.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then they make a run for it, and they're like, "Well, we can't leave without the others." They're like running down like a stairwell,
Yeah.
and then the timer resets and it starts counting down again. They're like, "What the?"
Oh
heck?
yeah, and then they
And
realize
then he pulls out the back, and he realizes this is not our timer.
I
It's,
wonder
it's a replica.
it's just a replica. I mean, I
It's
guess
a
they,
replica.
I guess maybe it was the same kind of weight to it. Like
I
I guess, it was a
guess.
good replica then.
Yeah.
It's also dark as hell in that museum.
That's true.
Yeah.
Then they get out down to the bottom of the stairwell, and they're like in like a parking structure, and there's just like a whole bunch of cops there.
Yeah. And
they
then
take
it cuts
take 'em into
back
custody.
to Rembrandt in his therapy session again.
Yeah.
And he's
Yeah, and then he's like, "Oh, I think I
Yeah.
have to go soon.
Yeah.
I have to meet up with my friends." He's like, "Oh no, it's like you're making such progress." He's like, "Let me tell my assistant to clear my
Oh my
schedule."
god, his assistant's hair is.
I know, right?
crazy.
Super
no,
crazy.
but even I think before that though, we get a little moment.
No, yeah, no,
It's straight.
yeah.
No, they have a little moment where maybe he says that and he's like, oh, you can't. But Rembrandt, it turns out that Rembrandt was super touched that Quinn was willing
Yeah.
let the
Missed the
timer
slide.
run out,
Yeah.
miss the slide because he wasn't with him.
yeah.
Yeah,
So he was just like, I have to keep sliding with him because, like, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah, but then that is right when he goes outside and talks to his
Yeah,
assistant.
but that is right. Yeah.
And then
Like
he
a
tells
beehive.
her.
I drew her hair
I couldn't
out.
understand what her
It
hair
was like-
because it was like a
I drew her
beehive,
hair-
but like more out. And
It was like
really
high,
up
and
there.
then all
Or,
of
like,
this
it
was like
folded
was-
in. Or, like, I don't know.
it was like back.
It was crazy.
It
It
was-
felt like an '80s hairstyle, like in like
Yeah, it was kind of weird.
yeah, like a
It was
mid
a
'80s
very- it was
hairstyle.
just
Like
a
it didn't
very-
feel like.
But it was like almost like a beehive
was all
with
frizzy.
like but it was like brushed back. Like
Uh-huh.
there was like
Mhm.
hair that was just like loose back here. I don't know. It
She's
was
wearing
weird.
like a knee, like those
Yeah.
like button ups where they're fucking
With the high shoulder pads.
yeah, the high shoulder pads. And
Yeah.
them too. Yeah. That's why she has such a
But-
weird outfit for.
And then
Assistant.
she tells him.
Or
He
to
tells her
get-
to call
To call somebody to
forget,
get like a
someplace.
straight jacket.
Like a
Yeah.
straight jacket.
Some like
Yeah.
I'm guessing like an insane
Basically like an
asylum.
yeah.
He's
an
gonna
asylum.
commit.
He's gonna commit. He's like,
Yeah.
He didn't believe it.
but he
the
was
whole
like
time.
very intrigued with his stories. He's like, oh my god, he's like, it's great stuff, you know.
He makes a
Oh, did he say
like
great
a
stuff?
Well, he doesn't have great stuff.
he makes a
just
call
says, like,
back to something else, and you're like, I guess I don't know, like some kind of case before. He's like, oh, this is gonna be my case.
Oh,
And so
yeah,
he's
I
like,
forget what
oh.
case he says something.
Yeah.
he thought he was gonna get like. A
So then
book
he
deal out of
comes back
this.
into the room. He tells Rembrandt, he's like, all right, let's continue. Where were we? He's
And
like, oh, then he
He
cuts.
bails out. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
he
he
bails
bailed
out
out
Wade
Wade
and
and
Quinn.
Quinn, who got arrested again. I wonder
Mhm.
how many worlds they've been arrested on.
Yeah, and
And-
then this is when you find out Rembrandt knows that this
Yeah.
is not the Earth because the some of the guys from the tops actually have writing credits.
Yes, on their songs.
Yeah, on their songs.
Yeah.
But he full on he apologizes to him. He gives him like a very like I think a sincere apology.
Yeah,
And then again, Quinn just like doesn't
Like,
hold it
don't worry
against
about
him.
it,
He,
yeah.
he just hugs him, and it was a really nice little hug between them.
yeah, and then they try to figure out, okay, where would the professor stash it? And then they decide to go to his house.
Is this
Yes.
house? Oh, I
Yeah,
thought it was
his-
They
yeah,
go
it's
to
his
the
house.
professor.
right.
We find out
They're
it's the
like,
professor's
would he be
house.
in his classroom?
Did you notice the weird way that this shot looked like though? Like it was super dark. I was trying to figure out if
Was it one of those maybe like a day night shot?
I
they
was
did?
wondering if maybe it was a day shot,
But why?
Yeah.
but it was like
Why?
super dark.
Uh-huh.
Well,
And the only thing that was kind of lit up was like
The door.
the door and a little patch of green on the
Oh, like
lawn
on
in
the lawn.
front. Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
But they also made like the sides like too dark.
That's right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But I was like, what is this filter or what they used on there?
Mhm.
Yeah. So then they
Like
I
looking
think
through
because
his
who
study.
breaks who breaks the window? Is it Quinn?
Quinn,
or-
he's just like
Quinn?
so comfortable with
fucking-
breaking into things
He's
now.
like, looks like nobody's home. So
I know, it just
Yeah.
elbows
he
in
elbows it, and then they get in there and they start just like ransacking the place, just trying to figure out like spots where it could possibly. They're in his study,
Yeah, and they're
pulling
just like,
books off shelves and stuff like that.
and then Wade notices the glasses and their bifocal lenses.
Oh, and she's
And
like,
she's
I never knew the
no.
professor wore bifocals.
yeah. And then that's when we're like, wait a minute. You hear
Yeah.
yelling.
you hear a noise. And you're like, what the hell? And she kind of goes by like the duct, like the bottom, like heater duct.
Yeah.
And then you're like, what did he say, Mr. Mallory?
Oh, does he? I
Or
just I
something like
remember
that.
him screaming, and then they
Help.
went down.
Or
Oh yeah, I
here.
heard help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like here.
And then they're trying to figure out like where it's coming from, and they're like, oh, look, there's a basement access over here. So they go down there, and then the professor's like handcuffed
Tied
to
up,
a
yeah.
pole, and you come to find out that
He had been.
his double never left, and when
He was
sh-
supposed to slide with that Quinn, and then chickened out last minute.
yeah, which he said, which was a smart decision.
I
know.
But
Because he also realized they probably wouldn't be able to get home.
yeah, he
Yeah.
realized they wouldn't get home, so he stayed. And then I
So I guess
like
it was
the
the,
little
professor's assistant that made the call too.
yeah, they called the
Yeah.
real professor or that world's professor. Then they had him like, oh, he said they
He
like
knocked him out since Monday.
they threw him into the back of a van. They like yeah, they hit him or something and threw him back in the van, and then he woke up and he was like tied up in that
He's
basement.
been there for 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
So
Damn,
we've
so
been
they've
on
been there
this.
for a while.
So, yeah.
We've
See,
been
then
on
that
this
makes
world
sense.
for
That-
2
that
weeks, and
explains,
like the
Yeah, like
they've
all the
already got
stuff
a
that's
book
been going on.
deal. Like, But
so he was trying to get information out of him. He's like, as you can see from that chalkboard, I gave
oh my
them nothing.
god, that drawing! He's like, he wanted me to give him like
like a
all
smiley
the.
face,
He's
but,
like,
like-
and
It's
he's
like a
like
face
this.
with like a tongue out.
It's this
Oh.
little like.
Oh god, it is exactly that drawing. Spot
I
on.
love it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. I'm all like, you can put that. I'm all like, I don't know if you can see it.
I'll
It's
have
this
to
little
wait.
like.
So
I have to,
close
like,
to
put
the
it up to
camera.
the
I know
camera.
you gotta go real close.
You can kind of see it right there.
Yeah.
But it's like a frown face with its tongue out.
Yeah.
But he's like, the professor is like mad.
Yeah. And then he tells them, "Oh, I think I saw him hide the timer over
the
there in that one
drawers.
drawer. He thought I was asleep." And they open the drawer and there's nothing there. And then what is it? Do they
Then
do
the
they
real
get him out?
oh, they
The
get him
original-
out.
they get
and
him
then
out.
The this world professor comes down.
Well,
And we have the
doesn't
timer,
Rembrandt
and
say-
then we
we-
get
we don't know.
we get the classic who's who.
Fuck, I haven't
Oh,
told you
yeah.
like mate. I don't know. I don't know.
I know.
Bro, they got my ass.
They're like, I don't know
I
who's
know. He's
There's
all like,
gotta be something you can say. You can say. There's gotta be.
well, then
one
they ask
thing.
him, and
Because they
he's
ask him,
like,
like,
"What
how does
about
he
my
know?
world?" He's like, "The world where I met." So then we get another
Like,
callback to the
anybody
world with his
who's-
wife,
And then
Yeah.
anyone who's
And
read,
then-
Anybody who's read Wade's
and then the
thing.
bomb. And he's
Yeah.
just like, "Well, how would I know
You
that?" He
should've-
was like, "Anybody who read that book." So in 2 weeks, this girl's got a book deal, and the books have been published for everybody to read.
Yeah.
Like, they work
working
quick on
fast.
this world.
Yeah, so then it's like,
Rembrandt should have asked the question of like, what's the jumping order we're gonna go in when we slide through?
Yeah, there should
Because they've been like, boom,
There
you
had
know
to
he's
been
last.
something you could have asked.
There was
something.
definitely something you could have
Yeah.
asked. I was
Like there had
come
to have been
on,
a
bro.
time where the
Or just, like,
professor
such a
and
tiny
and
detail.
somebody else were talking that when Wade wasn't around.
yeah,
Like how many moments
Yeah.
have Quinn and the professor been together?
yeah, like,
And Quinn has been his student. I guess you never know though, because the world is so. Because I'm like, you can ask him like a history question, but
yeah,
Yeah.
it's hard. You don't know how much of detail she released in the things, like stuff like she would have to ask
Should've
something
asked
that's
him,
not in
What's
her.
the color of the
diary.
bridge? Because
in
technically
our
they-
world, oh, that's true.
Yeah,
He wouldn't
yeah,
have seen it.
Oh, unless
Fuck, we're
I
good.
don't know.
Yeah, right?
Come on, you guys should
We would've
have
solved that
I
shit like
think-
nothing, man.
Yeah. So then he punches the other
What
Arturo.
he does? He
He
fucking
fucking decks him.
in that Summer of Love world. It was like Quinn and the professor for a while.
Oh yeah. with
He
the-
should have asked him like what was the color of outfit that I gave you or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they're arguing back and forth, and then he was like, I don't know, they keep insulting each other, and finally that one punches out the other.
Yeah. And
The
then
one
they
that's been tied up punches up the one that
punches the
walked
other
down.
one, and then they grab the timer and they take off.
Yeah.
And then did they say like how much time they had left? They had like was it like an hour, 30 minutes, something like that. It wasn't
really short.
It wasn't that.
26
I
minutes?
don't know. They all had time to say goodbye to their because then we cut to like they're in front of like Quinn's house. I think.
Yeah, they got a taxi.
He's
down
saying
there.
he's saying bye to his mom.
We
That
get to
world's
see
mom.
what
Oh, and there's this part.
Wade's parents.
That's true.
Oh yeah,
There's
the
this,
mom and the dad.
there's this one part
Sister
where
couldn't make it.
what I thought was really like
Oh,
sad,
the
where
mom.
the mom goes, "Why can't you
Oh.
just stay here until my Quinn comes back?"
That
Like,
seems
Yeah.
to me. That seems really selfish. Actually, I don't like that. It's really selfish of me to say that.
oh, what's the mean?
Yeah. and
I
then-
don't know, but she's just kind of like, yeah,
but
it's
then
true.
it's like, what? But
What about if
she
he
should have been more
decided-
caring? Because it's like there's another version of you that's missing.
That's
her
true.
son,
Missing
yeah.
her
I
son.
found like that's
Yeah.
a selfish statement to say.
I knew she knew. I think she knew he wasn't going to stay.
Yeah.
You know what? I
Still, though.
initially thought this was going to be the world of the guy that we saw. Well, the first Quinn double that we saw.
Oh no, because he was married in that one. So
Oh, that's true.
He's got wife and kids.
That's
Yeah.
true. I thought this was going to be his world, but
yeah, so everybody's there kind of like to see him off. The mom and then Quinn's Quinn's
Wade's
mom and then Wade's
parents.
parents are there. She kind of like gives him a hug and that, and then the other professor shows up
Jesus.
last minute.
Yeah.
And then they're all like, "What do we do?" He's like, "Take them both, and we'll sort it out in the next world." He's like, and then the professor's like, "The hell with that!" And they fucking both
they
start
all
fighting.
start.
start
And then
fighting.
at this point, I'm like, I
don't know
definitely
who's
have
who.
no idea who's
I don't know who's who.
I'm like, oh
Do
no.
you think? Do you? Okay,
Well,
so
at the
then,
end of this
so
episode,
yes.
okay, so he
So we're getting
the
to the end.
professor, the professor that opens the portal.
Uh-huh.
and then there's a professor who comes in on the taxi,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So at this point, do you feel like it's the professor who opens the portal that's
It's
our
the real?
professor, or the
Oh.
one who's in the taxi?
Which
Where
we got
do you-
knocked
I
out. The
don't-
one that got knocked out was the one that came down the stairs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that
That
the
is
one that
the
got
fake
knocked,
one?
that's the fake one.
Yeah,
think-
because
so
he
do
doesn't
you
want
think the
them to
taxi
leave
one-
with the timer.
You think the
'cause he's got
taxi one
nothing.
is the
fake one?
It's the fake one.
fake one?
But then
that
when they
made
do
everyone-
like a whole scuffle, you don't know who's who at that point because they're
You
both.
Then
doing
at
the
that
same
point, you
thing.
don't know who's who.
I
So
mean, you
I-
could keep
I
track.
don't
You could have
know.
kept track.
So-
I felt
Well,
like
actually,
the
no. There's
one-
a scene where you don't get to see.
I
all.
felt
Sorry.
like the
Sorry.
one who was in the taxi was our professor.
You think so?
Because why would he run down there?
I
Because
don't
he
know.
still
Why
want,
would he want to jump
Why
with
would he?
them?
But then either way, both
But
of
then
them,
the other
both of
one
them are
was
gonna
gonna
jump.
Yeah, it's really hard. I couldn't. At this point, I
Because
was like,
because one of them wants the
maybe-
remote, so they can still have the credit.
Yeah, he needs the timer
oh, and then maybe he was just gonna hold on to the timer
and not leave.
Yeah.
We don't know, but like there's
I
a whole
don't know, that's
scuffle,
true.
and then
And
one
then
of
at
the
that
professors
point, you
jumps in,
really don't know who.
and then
Yeah.
the portal closes up, and then that professor's all like, "Oh my god!"
Yes.
Fuck!
So,
What
at,
the
so at this
fuck?
point, I'm like, I think that's our
Oh.
professor because he turns to the camera and he's kind of like,
He
like he
realizes,
doesn't feel like, oh man,
he's stuck there.
he doesn't feel like he doesn't look like
So do you
he's
think
like,
they
I
took
almost
the
got
fake
him.
one then?
I think
I
they
think
took
they-
the fake
You
one.
know?
No, but they
Okay.
never mention it.
They
So,
never
okay.
bring it up again.
Not that I remember.
Okay, so this is
No, because the end of the episode goes, Rembrandt goes, and so yeah, we're still trying to figure
Oh,
out. if
yeah.
Yeah, we're
Rembrandt
still
rapping
having
about
so
it.
yeah, so
Or
they
not.
jump in. I know. I feel like
Bah,
I
just-
don't know.
Fuck.
I don't know.
No, they have to go more into it. I feel like
Oh, also
Maybe.
like
We'll see, I
that
guess.
scene where both the professors were looking at each other. I was like, oh, this is for that weird window shot that we had, and the
Uh-huh.
scene with both the professors. I was
We're
like,
pretty good,
fighting
right?
each
this
other.
looks
you-
really
it looks-
good
yeah.
when they're both facing each other.
It has
Yeah.
to like
It
cut
was
away
good.
from them when they actually make contact with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they
They
even
had a
had,
good stand-in.
they even had like a little shadow on Wade in the back, like
Yeah.
because he would have been in front of her, right? I was like,
Yeah.
oh, this is like a nice like
Mhm.
shot, like
Yeah.
effects wise.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then
We cut back.
it cuts back to the
therapist
therapy
office.
session,
hmm
and what
I think
is that?
Quinn and Wade.
Oh,
and-
they all
the
they all
guys
come
all
in.
show up.
Well, they
They
show
all
up, and then the receptionist's like, "You
That's
can't go in
when
there,
I
he's with the
that's when I
patient."
drew her
Yeah.
little hair. Her little hair is like
So
It's
terrible
weird.
drawing of hair, bro. In
I know.
comparison to the drawing of what the professor wrote.
This
Yeah.
professor
It's
is
a fucking
way better
downgrade.
than
So,
mine.
so they bust in there, and they're like, "Come on, Remy." He's like, it's almost time to slide."
Oh, this was really cute. Rembrandt's like, I thought this was really adorable. Rembrandt's like, always looking after me, huh, cue ball? And then
Oh, yeah.
Quinn
I
goes,
know it.
it's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Aw, a little bromance there. I thought it was really
Uh,
cute. And that's where the professor
Opens
the
up
portal.
the portal,
We
and then
gotta
the
go.
psychiatrist is like,
Oh,
Fucking stunned.
No,
She's
the
like,
cute,
"What
the
the
cute,
fuck?"
the professor's like the therapist is done, and he's like, cue ball. Like,
Oh,
I don't know-
yeah.
I
That's
don't
his
know
last
why
thing he says.
Yeah.
right
I
after
wonder if he
this.
thought like he was a fictional person.
Maybe.
Well,
but
I guess because he'd been calling him cue ball in the
Yeah.
therapy session. She's like, oh shit, he's a
He's a
But
real
yeah.
guy.
yeah.
he's a cue ball. He's just in shock, kind of looking at this portal,
Mhm.
and
And
then
I
they
guess
all
that
jump
kinda-
in.
That kind of breaks him too,
Yeah,
because
so the next scene is him
he's-
in
it's like him in the straitjacket, and he's talking about the colors of the portal.
He's
the
immediate. He's
beautiful
like
blue,
lost it.
like a more
Do you
blue than an ostrich is, thing, or
something. I forget
like
what he
a
says.
quail's
like the
egg?
blue, yeah. He's like
Something like
bluer than the sky or something. Yeah,
I
so
forget
he
what
says
it
like an
is.
egg,
Like
yeah,
an egg,
or
yeah.
robin's egg maybe.
Oh yes, a
Oh,
robin.
maybe
Okay,
robin's
bluer
egg.
than a robin's egg,
And
and
then-
he's like in a straight jacket.
Yeah.
Look what they did. They made a guy go crazy.
I do you think that's a common occurrence to look at the
No, there's
portal
plenty
and
of
go
other people
crazy?
looking
No,
at
there's
these
people-
portals.
Oh,
and they're like,
that's
man,
true.
yeah.
This was the tipping point for
But
him.
it's like it
Yeah.
broke his mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, so do we think this is the
Arturo?
professor? Do we think
Don't
I
know.
guess it doesn't fucking matter if they never
I
bring it
can't
up
remember.
again.
I'll look up and see if they ever like call back to it or anything like that, because I can't remember if
I
they
guess
do or not.
Does it matter? Because
Well,
for the
okay,
most
I mean,
part,
it
So
was-
then
are
this
the
is
same
like, what is the
personality.
I
actual
don't know.
order? What's the actual order of this? Where does this episode place in the actual? Well, not what was aired, but what the actual order is.
You mean the true order?
Yeah,
So
because then I wonder if
technically-
there's hints in those
technically
episodes.
the episode that should follow this one
Is-
is in Dino
It
Veritas.
doesn't matter.
So
then.
you still
it
don't
does
know.
not matter.
In Dino Veritas is right after.
in Dino Veritas is after. So what do we think of the professor there?
I don't know. He,
acts
well,
like
because
himself.
he
He was
acts like
very
himself.
kinda
Because even like
grumpy.
that,
He's a grumpy guy.
yeah. But then he does that like
Oh,
that,
but then
that
he
nice
was
thing
very,
where he's
like-
talking about where he first met Quinn.
That's true.
So maybe it is-
Maybe
Maybe
it is their I don't know.
I'll look it up. Maybe
They bring it
just
up.
bring it up
Fucking
later.
season 5.
Who knows?
It's finally revealed.
What's supposed to run after in Dino?
Great fellas.
Which is our next
Which
one?
is-
no, it's not.
No. The next
what's
one,
our next one?
after this is going to be Obsession, episode 9. And then after Obsession is Great Fellas.
Okay, where does Obsession lie?
Obsession
Is
runs
before or after?
before. It's 2 before. It's Obsession and then Invasion and then Post Traumatic Syndrome in the.
Do we see Invasion
chronological- No, not yet.
Oh, okay.
Invasion doesn't pop up in here
Alien
until
one,
episode
duh.
12 in the
In the way that it
in
was
the way
aired,
it's aired, in the way it was
and the way
aired.
that we're following.
Yeah, in the way that we're going.
I
So we won't get to that
wonder-
till later.
And Dino,
Oh.
I don't know. I mean, but you don't
He
know.
does
you
act
don't
like
know,
himself.
I guess at the end of the
You
was
don't
that,
know
like,
if that
personality?
professor's. I mean, that professor
Why?
could
You
have
think he's just
met.
acting?
No,
too?
but that could have been the way he met him.
Maybe because I don't
'Cause
think
they were-
Wade
it
knows the
seemed like-
specifics of that.
That's true.
So could be.
Oh, I wonder if this gets resolved. I mean, I guess we'll just
Some
see.
stuff doesn't get resolved. We know this already.
Ay.
People go missing.
People go
That's
missing.
right.
People join.
Where'd
People
that
just
dog go?
leave.
Where'd that dog
Where
go?
your old
If they don't
dog.
ever
It's
bring
in
it,
it.
if they don't ever bring it back up again, that would be a good way.
Bring
To,
the show
like-
To what?
back.
To
What
bring the show
fuck
back?
they're
No,
gonna
no.
bring?
Well, I guess I can't talk about it yet, but when we get to it later.
Arturo.
Um,
it's the season 5 shit.
Season 3 or 4 stuff. Yeah, we'll get into it later. Don't worry.
He's all that would explain why in season 4 there's
He's
2
evil.
professors.
They are fighting each other.
Yeah, well, yeah, or like
Professor
again,
comes in as like
episode where
cyborg
another
at this point. He's
Arturo's
all like, I've
like-
been trying.
I've been looking for you.
I've been looking
He's
for
all
you.
try falling on me now, Rembrandt.
Or it'd be great if, like, in the next episode, like he lands on him. He's like, "I thought we said you weren't going to land on me, and or we weren't going to land on each other." And he's like, "Well, when did I say that?" And then they're all,
So yeah, so even they're not even sure they have the right professor. So I'll have to look up and see if that
Well,
ever
if
gets
that
brought
were-
up again.
If that were you, do you think you're always kind of like?
I gotta keep an act up
You're right.
at all times.
Yeah.
Well, no, like let's say if you were in the group and you didn't know if that was your
Oh, I would
professor,
always
are
have
you
my
always
guard
kind
up.
of like,
I'd be like,
wait?
I'd be
hold on a
like,
minute."
this motherfucker's not allowed to hold the timer
I
anymore.
know. Where's the timer right
I
now?
guess it's like I don't. Oh yeah. Do you worry he dishes you, or do you worry he kills you?
I
anymore?
know.
I
Well,
guess
he
you know
wa-
the professor enough. You're like, "It's not
he
gonna
had the
kill me."
timer in the next world.
He hired someone to steal.
I'm
something.
trying to
But then
think
he
if
loses it. Remember, he
I'm trying
drops
to
it.
think if there are any like clues.
No, I don't think there
The
is.
writers
But
weren't. They were all on cocaine writing this shit, man.
They forgot this was even the story plot.
Yeah, brother. Oh, fuck. They did
I
that.
wonder. All right, you guys let us know. Do you think this is our professor? Do you
Yeah.
think this isn't our professor?
I know, right? So the rating that IMDb gives this one 8.3.
What do you
And
think?
what was Dino?
7.
Yeah, no, I definitely this
I
is
would say this is a
definitely
better
better.
episode.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
was a good episode.
Yeah, it was
Mhm.
good.
It definitely ranks like I think in my top 5.
Like if this is your first time watching it and you watch that episode, you're like, all right, they're home.
I
They
made
The
it.
show's over.
Well,
like
bridge
they
is
definitely.
lit,
I
huh?
mean, I know. I guess they wanted to end it in this episode, 2 episode run. All right, a 2 season
They
run. All
did.
right,
Yeah.
but that is real sad though. How sad do you think you would have been?
If you were the
Like
the
you
real
thought-
one.
So close.
Like you
We're
were
getting
just so close to getting home.
Oh, I thought it was if you were the real.
I know.
Fucking left
If you were,
behind.
I know.
How
if you were the,
heartbreaking that
if our
is.
real
That'd be
Arturo is
so
stuck there,
sad,
what
man.
happens?
Well, if that is our Arturo and
I
he's
guess he
stuck
just
there, he's got
studies-
all the information to build a sliding
Does he?
timer.
Does he?
He's got all the stuff in Quinn's thing. He's got
But
all the stuff
can't
that
he
Arturo
ever-
has in his office
creative.
and stuff like that. I don't know.
I don't can't. Well,
He always says he
well,
could.
look,
Praying we
remember
see this
that?
motherfucker
Not
come
even.
back in season
Because
3.
remember that one episode where he had where Quinn was like in the other realm, right? Where he was in the like phantom realm,
Yeah.
and he couldn't figure out how to fix the timer. He still needed Quinn's help. So I don't. I think
well,
even-
because he didn't build that one.
that's
he
what
didn't
I mean.
build
Though.
it, so he doesn't
I
know
think
it. Like
even at this point,
he
the
would
professor
have to
could
build his
not
own
make
version.
his own timer.
I think he could. I don't know. Now
It doesn't
I'm
matter.
thinking about it. I vaguely remember
A plot line.
something
with this.
being brought up again about the other
See, I feel
Arturo.
like I remember talking to this about once, and he was like, oh,
I
yeah,
can't
He's
remember.
on.
he
He's
got
on.
swapped
Did you know
out.
one time the professor got swapped out,
Yeah.
and it was the wrong
Oh,
professor
that's
for a
it.
good 5
Yeah.
episodes.
But I accepted him as my professor. It's fine.
Eventually, we all came to know him and love him as our
Who's
professor.
we?
America.
Wow.
We the people
Sci-fi.
decided this is the one true Arturo.
We don't talk about the other Arturo.
He's dead to us.
I know. Imagine. How do you feel? Do you feel like, oh my God, I'm stuck on this world?
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess you just go on with your life, right?
That's all you can
It's
do.
not that bad of a world,
he's
really.
set up pretty good.
He's pretty good.
So-
he still got his job. He's still teaching.
True.
Yeah.
But you
It's
just
not the
feel.
worst world. to
But
be
that's
like
what's that. You
And
just,
then,
you
like, he's
miss,
famous. He's
especially,
famous
like,
on
you
this world.
But I'm sure if that's the real Arturo, if that's our
Oh,
Arturo,
he misses his crew.
Quinn, he misses Wade. Like he's grown.
Well,
some
maybe
shit.
he uses all this fame and money to like get a
to
team
make the
together.
new Quinn,
Get a grip.
No,
make a new Wade.
To get a team together, maybe
It's not
somehow.
the same though.
You know what?
No.
I'm still-
What if he
I'm
builds
still waiting
something
for
to?
the FBI plot to come back in. At some point, it's gonna come back in.
What if he builds
The
something
season's
that
gonna
can
end
like
with
kind of
that.
harness the vortex, so when they open another world, they get sucked back into that world.
Fuck.
He can't even fix the timer. How is he gonna?
Look, man,
how-
I'm giving you
how is he
options
gonna
here.
go
What do you want
to
from me?
Alpha?
I know. How is he gonna? How he's gonna make this portal
Okay,
warp into his own
Then
like?
he's just stuck there. He's just stuck
Yeah.
there in his life. That's it. That's all you can do.
Poor guy.
I would take a spin on series. Or Maximilian should be the name.
Maximilian.
He's like, I wonder what the gang's doing right now.
And then every so often it cuts
It's
into.
up to them.
It's like a claymation,
Yeah.
like fucking
Yeah.
imagination scene.
He's like, oh.
It's just called back to this like episode.
He's like doing something. And he's
Oh,
like, Quinn would
I
have
remember
known
we
what
were
to
in
do.
communist world.
But yeah, so I'm like, I don't think this Arturo. I don't think
It's
any
our-
Arturo.
I don't think this
Can
is our
make-
Arturo.
Isn't that interesting? Quinn has been kind of like consistently smart in these worlds.
Uh-huh.
Everybody seems to be at the same kind of level that they're at. You get me?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think this Arturo can like make the portal do what he wants it to do.
Yeah.
So that he's stuck. Poor guy. Hopefully that's not our Arturo. I don't know.
Oh, we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the next episode, yes, post-traumatic slide syndrome. Oh no, I'm
No.
sorry.
Fuck. Oh shit. Part two.
Oh, no. You looked into the portal.
No, I was looking at the thing right here, and I was like looking at the wrong thing. I'm sorry. No. Next
The
one
way you
is
said that too.
It's
Yep.
obsession.
Post-traumatic stress.
obsession. Obsession is the
Obsession.
next one. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that one's got a low rating. That was 6.8.
Oh, damn, that's got
I don't
lower
even
than
remember what that
Dino?
one's about. I don't even remember.
Dino was the best episode of the season so far. What are you talking?
You know what? Great Fellas doesn't even have that high of a rating.
blame
I
him.
mean-
I don't expect it to be a
Greyfellow's got a
great
7.
episode.
Same thing as in Dino Veritas.
Good point.
I know.
And that was a fun one.
Was
Dino
it a
was
fun
fun.
one?
I liked it.
Yeah,
it was fun enough.
You had the dinosaur peeking in like,
Hello?
Yeah.
And I like this one. This might be my favorite episode of the season. Yeah.
yeah, I'm looking ahead and I can't remember a lot of them. Well, when we get to them,
One episode's called Arturo.
Arturo's back. We're like, damn. I guess that's our answer.
That should be the season fucking finale, bro.
I guess we'll see.
All right.
How many episodes do we have in the season altogether
let's
left?
see,
Like
we're
5.
on 8, so we got 1.
It's like
2,
104.
3, 4.
What?
Oh shit! Oh fuck! I messed up.
Oh,
My bad.
no.
I'm sorry.
I'd
I think
assume
it might be 4. I
13.
think there might be 4
Oh, 4
left.
more left.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah, for
Oh,
this
wow.
season.
So we'll be done with the season before summer.
Yeah. So yeah, it's Great Fellas. Well, it's Obsession, Great Fellas, The Young and the Relentless,
I thought we
Invasion.
saw that, no?
No.
Oh,
Remember
we
Matthew
saw the
said he
good,
had
the
Ma-
bad,
yeah,
and
yeah.
something. Yeah.
Yeah, Invasion, and then As Time Goes By is the last one for the season. So 13 episodes total for this season, and we're on number 8.
So 5 more, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're almost done, and then we go
I
on to
couldn't even
season
do that
3.
simple maths in my
And my
head. That's-
favorite episode's coming up
What's your
for
favorite?
season
one?
3. Rules of the Game.
Oh,
Not in
season
Dino,
3.
Season
Is that
3,
the first
episode
episode?
1. Yeah, that's the
Rules
very
of the
first
game,
one.
where they're being
And-
hunted.
Rules of the game.
Yeah, and then Matthew's gonna.
Do we see the?
Matthew
Do
from
we see the
Macabre Cast is
return
gonna
of
come
what
on
was the
that.
name of that?
Egghead?
that-
Oh.
Eggheads. What was that?
Oh my-
name? What was that game that they played? I can't
Eggheads?
remember.
From Eggheads?
Yeah.
No, this one's way better.
No, Eggheads is like
Well,
my
we'll
favorite
see.
episode.
I don't
No,
know.
there's just like
Find
the-
Eggheads.
yeah. Well, you'll see when we get
It's
to it.
just
That's a good episode.
most dangerous game. But, yeah.
So let me look on the calendar here because we're coming up on the 30th anniversary episode of March 23rd, where Rob
Oh, I
Rob
gotta
Floyd
see
is gonna
if we
join
have
us
him-
from
if we have him in any of these
season 5.
Any of these cards.
It's a fucking
Let
Big
me
Arturo.
see here. So next episode we will be recording the 2nd? March 2nd? No, I'm sorry. That's
No.
next week. That's next weekend. March 9th is our next episode. And then Oh wow! You know what? That runs perfect. March 9th, and then it still sticks to our schedule. And then March 23rd is the 30th anniversary one we're doing with special guests Rob Floyd, who played Mallory in season 5, will be joining us.
Wait,
So,
when are we doing that?
March 23rd.
March 23rd. Okay.
Yes, it's a regular recording day,
Oh, okay.
so it doesn't like.
But when is the actual anniversary? I forgot when.
The 22nd.
The 22nd.
The day before.
Okay.
Yeah, so that'll be fun. Gotta get those questions in. If you guys have any questions,
Should
you
we
can
decorate?
shoot them.
Maybe we should do like a little happy anniversary banner.
I don't think so. I don't see the point of it.
We should. What is it? The 30th, right? We should all wear little 30 glasses.
Yeah. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, all the listeners or viewers, I know the viewers is usually kind of low, but we get a lot of listeners on the podcast. So if you guys have any questions, shoot us questions to, you can either DM them to our Instagram at Sliding Through Dimensions, or email it to our email slidingthroughdimensions@gmail.com. Yeah, and if you want to follow us over there on Twitter as well at SlideHome1. And we have a TikTok. We don't really post on the TikTok just because it takes so much time to like edit. It would take so much time to edit videos, and I don't have the time for that. But yeah, I'll probably have to update our outro, because since we don't really use the TikTok that much, I post a lot on Instagram, and also on Twitter / whatever, x.com, what they call it now. That's where we post a lot of stuff, and also on Reddit, on the Sliders page on Reddit, on there as well. Okay. Yeah. So until the next episode, we will see you guys in the next world.
Dimension
/ dimension. Bye.
Thank you for tuning in. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Sliding Through Dimensions for updates and extra content. And don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss out on new episodes dropping every other week. Until next time, see you in another dimension.